So, because any time we walk into a room, we become someone else. Like when you walk into your parents' house, you're a different person. You feel different. You either feel better or less good than you feel on your own. You feel either superior than them or inferior to them. You feel either sort of overconfident or intimidated by them. But all this, why does every room feel different to you? Not room, but the people that you're walking into. Like every room of people that you're walking into makes you feel different. It's not necessarily because of their energy, although it's a contributing factor. It's not so much because of who they are. It's much more about the image that you've created about yourself in relationship to them. So you've positioned yourself somewhere in your own thinking. You've placed yourself in a position. You are now in this position every time you're with that person. That's why at some point people just kind of have to break off relationships or whatever. Well, one reason is that it becomes so heavy, becomes so solidified that that's who we are, that that's where we position ourselves in relationship to this person, this friend or partner or mom and dad or sibling. And we don't know how we can change that. We don't have conscious control over it. So the only thing we can do is change the circumstances or break off the relationship, which isn't a bad thing per se. But we can actually change that if we want to. We can become aware every time we walk into a room how our energy shifts and become aware of that subtle first image that you have of yourself based on possibly what you think they think of you. Let's say you're a business person or you're an aspiring business person and you walk into a room with someone who's been in the field for 30 years and has made like hundreds of millions of dollars and is like a very successful business person. And you're an aspiring business person. You're going to position yourself in relationship to the thoughts you have of them in a certain way. It's going to be an inferior position, most likely. In your mind, you're inferior to them. They have something to give you. You have something to gain from that situation. And so you're going to place yourself in that position. And according to that position, you're going to act differently. And you're going to filter everything that is available to you in terms of intelligence and information and consciousness. And it's going to first go through this position before it comes out of your mouth. And then you go back home. And maybe you feel slightly superior than your partner just because you're smarter or you're sexier and you're kind of out of their league, but you decided to marry them anyway. Or whatever concepts you might have. So then you go back home and you feel superior. You place yourself in a completely different position. And now everything that you channel, all the intelligence that's available to you, is going to filter through that point of view before it comes out of your mouth. And you do this game all the time, all day long. And I said yesterday, that's why so many people identify as introverts. Nobody's an introvert. That doesn't exist. It's just that you don't know how to control this. And so you feel victim of this position that you place yourself in when you're around certain people or around people in general, period. Now, then we went deeper. And this person asked me, well, why do we position ourselves somewhere to begin with? Why do we do that in the first place? When we walk into a room, when we meet people, why do we create such a positioning? Why not just stay like empty, locationless, spacious consciousness, bliss, already free, one with God? All that is a manifestation of it. Why not stay like that? Why position ourselves? And then I asked, well, or I shared something along the lines of, well, there is a root positioning that you have that's not dependent on being around anyone. So, and that's the cause to begin with. That's the initial cause. So then I asked this person or someone in the group, if you're by yourself in the shower, what's your position then? There's nobody around. You're just washing yourself. Maybe you're humming a song, thinking about some things that happened that day, or you're just by yourself, but you're still positioning yourself somewhere. You still have a root position. Now, if this position is fairly positive, you're generally a fairly happy person. If this position is some type of sort of heavy victim position, you're generally a miserable person. It's really that simple. Where you position yourself, I mean, it's layered and complex, and you've added thoughts to it over time, but it is essentially this simple. You have a core positioning. You have a core belief of what you are. And so everything you do, regardless of who is around, even when no one is around, you're going to filter first to that position before it comes into your awareness. That's why it's unconscious for most people. But now you have no more excuse. You can be conscious of it if you want to. And liberate yourself from it. Free yourself from this core positioning. And what is this core positioning? At the very root of it, it is, for most people, the concept that you are located somewhere. Location, period, is the root positioning. You believe it's not true. You can't find that it's true. You can't actually find evidence if you look objectively enough. But we always assume that we have a location. And that sucks. For God to suddenly have one spot, for the omnipresent, ever-present, all infinite parallel realities appear eternally in the now within me, to like, I'm standing in the shower and I need to wash my hair and do my makeup and get ready for this day that looks exactly like yesterday. That, you know, the contrast, of course you're a little bit unhappy. Of course this is not as fun and pleasurable as the love, light, bliss of eternity. But it's an assumption, it's not true. And it's the body that conditioned this in the consciousness. So another way of saying location is body. You believe you are the body. This is just something you've assumed over time because of the senses, all seemingly pointing back to your location as being at the receiving end of those senses, all coming together somewhere here, somewhere inside your brain maybe. Or if you're spiritual, maybe you're inside your heart. You've decorated your prison a little bit, your prison. So over time, the sensory perceptions that you have conditioned your belief that you're located somewhere. But you can't find that that's true. And biologists and scientists and neurologists and brain surgeons, they have not been able to find that that's true either. They've not been able to find you in your brain. Oh, there he is. Look at him dancing around. Whee! This little guy inside the brain. That's him. That's who. That's the controller of the body. That's you. It's not true, but we believe it. And because we've come to believe it, we've come to sort of focus on the experiences that go along with that. And so now our life itself, God itself, consciousness itself, has filtered itself through a position of victimization, regardless of how empowered or disempowered you believe you are, how superior or inferior you believe you are, how confident or insecure you believe you are. As soon as God thinks of itself as being located somewhere, it's a victim. Why? Because if I'm over here, something else is over there. And it's only a matter of time before something else starts running into me over here. So I'm a victim of this universe because I'm over here, the universe is over there. Location is the root cause of all victim thoughts. Now, it's possible. I wouldn't share this, of course, if it was just hopeless information. I share it because there is hope. You can actually begin to loosen up your identification with location. Most people are obsessed. That's why they suffer so much. If you just relax, that obsession with what's appearing next. What am I feeling now? What am I thinking now? What's this person going to say to me now? If you just relax and recognize the basis, this groundless, spacious existence that cannot be described by science, the very fact that you exist, this beingness, this consciousness, this space-like, already established, already free, perfect nature of everything. Empty bliss, empty clarity. You recognize when you stop thinking for a moment that there's a clarity that remains, no? Now you can dial into that clarity and it will teach you everything. That's the teacher, that's the inner teacher, is the state of clarity itself, which is unobstructed at all times. You could throw as many clouds as you want into the sky. It will not affect the sky.